because what I'm going to share with you today is we're going to talk about the river of real estate and how that influences your referral business within real estate. All right. Oh, some of you are putting in there how many you referred out. Love that. All right, now you should be seeing my screen now where it says the river of real estate. Well, what is the river of real estate? Let's talk about a river initially. The river has these components of it. We have the source, which in real estate, that is you. We have tributaries, which are lead sources. And for this call, the lead sources that I'm going to be talking about is the people who refer you. So those of you that got referrals last year, all your referrals may have come from one person, or they may have come from 5 different people. But those are your tributaries, the lead sources. How many people out there are speaking your name and referring you? These are the 2 areas we're going to spend time talking about today. But let me go ahead and introduce the other 3. Dams and debris, these are obstacles that get in the way of the flow of your business. And consistent business, this is your flow state. Some people's flow state is pretty slow, and some people are in massive flow. So that would be like a rushing river. And then we have the delta. This is where legacy and scale, and this is where other streams flow into the river. Now let's talk about the source. You are the source of your river. Everything begins with you, and a strong business is built at its source. I am a community director of a community called Referral Champion. You're going to probably hear it. Well, you will hear about that on today's call. And we start everybody off in foundations. And this is where we talk about your values, your mindset, your integrity. How are you showing up when no one is watching? Specifically, how do you influence an outcome when your body is not present in the room? And so this is the source is you. The tributaries, these are the smaller streams that feed the river, meaning this is your sphere of influence. These are your past clients. These are vendor referral partners that you work with. If you're in a BNI, that would be the people inside your BNI, is those are the smaller streams. These are the people that you influence, even when your body's not present, you influence them to speak your name when you're not there. Real quickly, I will give a very simple elementary example of this. Your neighbor goes to lunch with other PTA moms. And at that lunch with these other PTA moms, someone talks about moving, and your neighbor mentions your name. Your neighbor is a tributary in your business. He or she is a smaller stream that feeds, and you have influence in whatever capacity and however you did it. You've influenced that neighbor to be able to open his or her mouth and speak your name when they were out to lunch, and you physically weren't even present for that. That is success. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I want to share with you a personal example from my life. And so we're going to change gears just a little bit here. So pardon me as I do this hard change here and go in a different direction for a moment. When I was growing up, and I have an amazing family. I love my family. I have amazing parents, and I'm very close to them. When we were growing up, my mama and my daddy, they moved me and my siblings every single year. We weren't in the military. We always lived in North Texas. Every year they rented. They actually didn't buy their very first home until my second year of ninth grade. That's another story. When I was about 14, 15 years old at that time when they actually bought their first home. Right? All throughout elementary and all throughout middle school and my first year of ninth grade, I had a different school around the DFW area, specifically around Garland and Richardson. And then we moved to the Salina area, if you're familiar with DFW. Now, I want you to imagine if you have children that have ever started the first year of school and you've ever moved, or even go back in time when you were a little child and you started your first year of school, What were those feelings that you had when you started school? For me, it became my life. I did not know what it was like to start a new school year and already know where the cafeteria was and where the restrooms were. I walked into the cafeteria of a brand new school every single start of the school year, and I knew nobody. I didn't know the people. I didn't know the janitor. I didn't know where the PE gym area was. I didn't know where the restrooms were. I didn't even know where the nurse was. I didn't even know the layout of the school, didn't know the library. And I had to get to know all of that every single year. I also knew, I learned over a few years that when I would walk into a new school, I would be forgotten, that I had to get very close to a sphere of people, and I had to become very good friends with this sphere of people. And at some point, 9 months later, I would never remember who Tammie Cameron was. I would have no impact on their life after those 9 months. So I had to make the most of my 9 months. In my younger years, I didn't articulate that I would be forgotten. In my later elementary and my middle school years, I did. So it created a lot of great things with me, and it taught me a lot, but it especially taught me how to instantly make friends, how to instantly build rapport, how to instantly cultivate influence within a new crowd every single year. So, talking about referrals, this is something in a not so humble way, I'm going to tell you I excel at. Um, when I was in the second grade, I started a school year and I walked into the cafeteria and I identified a group of young girls that I knew I wanted to be friends with. I got really good, even in those younger years, of scanning the room and being able to pick out the friendly girls and those that would be welcoming to a stranger like me. And I got to know these girls pretty well in the beginning of the school year. And it got to a point where one of the girls invited me over to her house. She got, for her birthday over the summer, she got this Barbie doll house. And she invited me and the other girls to come over and play with that Barbie doll house. And I really wanted to go. And I wanted to be very close to this group of friends. And I wanted to go play at her house. But my mama and my daddy, they both worked. And I had rules in place of how far I was allowed to venture from my home. This was mid 1980s. So we were allowed to walk around and venture from the house and do excursions, even at young ages. I also had a rule I was never allowed to cross Beltline. That was kind of one of my barriers, is I was never allowed to cross the street Beltline. So I had to stay within these certain boundaries. Now, pop quiz time. I'm going to ask you, for a young girl at the age of 8, how do you think I made it to my friend's house that day? If I'm not allowed to cross this big street, how do you think I got there? Because I did get there and I made it and I was obedient to my mama and I didn't cross the street. And if anybody knows me, they already know the answer to this, but I'm curious how many people also had this same experience as a young child. I had my mom come and get me. That's a really good answer. It's not the right one, but it is a really good one. Is it Carrie or Kari? I'm not sure, but I appreciate that. No, I did not have my mom come and get me. I didn't know, and I also didn't have a friend come and get me. And it was before the time of, sounds like Carrie. Thank you. Ryan says Uber. No, Ryan, you know that. I just said 1980. There was no Uber at the time. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you how I crossed Beltline at that time. And then go to the chat if you're like, yes, girl, I did this too. I went under Beltline. That is how I crossed Beltline. I had such a desire to get to that friend's house that I got creative and I got savvy. And I still wanted to obey my mom. Yes, way and wow, yes. So if you ever played in the gutters underneath the streets, just go in there. I always tend to meet one or two people. They're like, I did that. I'm with you. But I was a skinny, little, busted up knee girl at the age of 8, and I went under Beltline. When I first went under Beltline, this is what I saw. Now, this isn't a real picture from this back then. This is one I found off the internet. But this is pretty much what it looked like. It was dark. There were cars going overhead. It was short, 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 short. It was stinky. It was in September in the Texas um, environment. And so it was hot, it was humid, there were little drips of water. And when I first got down there, I can remember thinking, oh no, because it sounded so good. When I was thinking of it, it sounded so good. I didn't even think about point B or point C or point D. I just thought about this will work. I'll go down there and it'll come out the other side. And so I went down there and I was terrified. I actually didn't know if I could take a step forward, and I had a choice to make. Do I crawl back out and go home and then I just die a social death because I have no friends? Or do I persevere and go through the dark and pray that I don't run into any rats or any animals down there? Okay, so question, what do you think I did? I already gave you the answer that I made it to my friend's house, but what do you think I did? You think I went forward? You think I crawled out? What do you think I did? Go to the chat. Let me see. Yes, Kevin, you will do just about anything when you're a kid. Okay, I've got some here, yes, I did, and some here that I didn't. And just so you know, when you're doing the little toggle, if you want to comment to everybody, you can comment to everybody, or you can just keep commenting to me, but you can toggle if you want your comment to go to everybody. Okay, so here's what I did. I crawled back out. I was scared. And I crawled back out and I went home and I got a flashlight. I am so proud of 8-year-old Tammie. I had some many great experiences, but this one has kind of become a foundational teaching moment in my life. I went home. Yes, my mama was mad. I'll get to that, Rachel. I went home and I got a flashlight. And the moment, now this was the picture I'm showing you here, this is a big gutter. This was not what I was in. I was in a gutter where you crawl. But you can see how much farther you can see. The flashlight to me represented a tool to help me go forward just a few steps, to get me to the next point. I couldn't see point B without the flashlight, without that tool. The moment I had the tool, I could see point B. I can't see the end, but that's okay, because once I got to point B, I can see point C. The systems and the tools that I'm going to share with you today, they are the flashlight. I'm a flashlight. Your mentors are flashlights. Your database is a flashlight. Your systems, your CRM, all of these are tools that are to help you shine a light on the next step. Many of us have just started, this new year, and we got these big goals and we got these big dreams, but we can't see December and we can't see 5 years from now. And they're vague and they seem cloudy and they seem out of touch, and we can't quite like tangibly grab it. But a tool to help us see Q1, that we can do. And so this story that I lived, I go back to it often because I'm always looking for tools to just show me if I can just see point B, I can get to point B. And then I can see point C and get to point C. Now, just for fun, I had chat do a little image of me. This is not me. This is what I had chat create, because this is really what I looked like when I got out of that gutter. And I went to my friend's house, and her mom called my mom at work. And yes, I got in trouble. And yes, I showed up looking like a gutter girl, but I got to play with Barbies that day and I had friends, and it was an amazing year. So Anyway, some of you may be like, who is this woman talking to me? Some of you know me, some of you don't know me, but I am Tammie Slay, and I am a referral champion. Didn't think I'd get emotional saying that, but I am a referral champion. And I am also a woman who was once a little girl who had a lot of dreams and had a ton of ambition and had some wild imagination. And I've become the woman I've wanted to become to this point, but I'm not yet where I want to be. So I'm always on a mission, and you are too. We are always on this journey of becoming better, becoming greater. And each of our definitions of better and greater is different. You share a little bit about you. And these are the hats I wear. And you can relate. We all wear many hats. Every one of us have all these hats we got to wear. And it's because of these hats that I've chosen to invest my career into referrals. This is what I built my business on, and this is what I excel at when I coach my coaching clients. And this is what we talk about inside of our community referral champion. Hat number one, I am the community. Well, actually, this isn't in any order. Hat number one, I'm a mother. But hat number one, I'm a community director of referral champion. Hat number two, I'm a mother, and then I'm a grandmother of 6, and we have 2 more coming soon. So by April, I will be a grandmother of 8. We'll have that many. I'm also a dog mom. I have a black lab. Her name is Charlotte, and she's getting old. I am also Cleveland's fiance. Cleveland is my man friend. For those of you who know it, man friend's like a boyfriend, but I call him a man friend because he's a man and not a boy. And we are getting married April 5th. I'm a broker. I'm a team leader. I'm a master coach, and I've been in real estate for just a little bit over 20 years. And I put the little jester hat on there because I feel like every year in real estate, every day in real estate, I'm going, is this a joke? Like, what is going on? So the jester hat to stay humble, but also to laugh at all the little nuances real estate throws at you. So we're going to dig into something that is specific inside of this community referral champion. And I'm going to take you right on over into the river, the personal river of real estate. What you're going to receive at the end of this webinar is the original River of Real Estate Shift module. You're going to get that. That is published by Workman Success Systems. It's a fantastic shift module. Inside of the Referral Champion community, we took the foundation of that module and we made it personal. So a lot of the calculations up here is found inside of that shift module, the River of Real Estate. I'm giving you a peek behind the curtain, and I'm going to show you 2 things that are exclusive to the Referral Champion community. You're not going to get a copy of them because they are exclusive to the community and they can't be shared outside the community. So have your calculators ready, have your screenshots ready, and have pen and paper ready because I'm going to take you behind that curtain and I'm going to show you what this does. All right. I did this calculation off of DFW. Let me back up just a little bit. A personal river of real estate is teaching you how many people within your database are going to move this upcoming year. So we look at past data to determine how many moved last year, and then we move forward and we can predict how many will move this year. This is what we call what's possible. Inside of Referral Champion, this is a very important number of knowing what's possible. What do you have at your fingertips already baked in, and from your efforts, what's possible? Okay, I'm going to save the rest of that for later. Okay, if we look at the DFW market, this market I'm in, the DFW market has a little over 8 million people in it. That's the population of the market. So what you're going to do is you're going to write down the population of your market. Take a screenshot of this. You can do these calculations later. Then the average household size. The average household size in Texas is 2.7. So that's 2 adults and 3/4 of a child. There are roughly 3 million households in DFW. So we take the 8.3, we divide it by the 2.7, and we come up with a little over 3 million households inside of DFW. Now, I looked at the last time I did this, it was the year of 2024. So I've not yet updated this for 2025. That's okay. It's going to be about the same. At the year of 2024, in the DFW market, there was 178,999 residential, single family residential resale transactions. Okay, so this doesn't include commercial or farm and land. It doesn't even include condos in there. This is just single family residential transactions that took place in the year of 2024. When I divide this number by this number, I know that every 17th household had a residential resale transaction. How empowering is that? Go in the chat and just say, yes, mind is blown. Yes, I'm seeing it. Yes, I know why this is very important to understand. When you think of a subdivision or a community, you can just walk down the street. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Every 17th household bought or sold, participated in a residential resale transaction. Now, this is where the math gets even more interesting because this is where it gets personal. How many contacts do you have in your phone right now? If you don't know that, you can just put in here how many contacts you have in your database. You can add the two up. It doesn't matter. I'm going to focus mostly on the phone though, because the phone is people you know. And I've been doing this enough that everybody I do this with and everybody in the community, because I do one-on-one calls with people inside the community, they always say, well, I have realtors in there. Well, your realtors are in a household. So even the realtors that you know, they participate in a purchase or a sale where they're the buyer or the seller. They're a household, they're a human. So they get factored into this. You can do your area off of the US or you could do it off the state. I did it off of the DFW market, and you can see I have it done for my coaching clients in different areas. So I put in here the number of contacts in my phone. Now, if you have an Apple, I can tell you how to find that number. If you have anything other than an Apple, I cannot tell you how to find that number because my knowledge only goes so far. So if you have an Apple, you're going to click on contacts, meaning you're going to go to like your little phone app, click on contacts, and you'll just scroll. I don't know if you see this, just scroll. I probably shouldn't show you my people. Scroll all the way down till you get the very, 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 very bottom, past the Z's and past the numbers, and you're going to see a number of contacts that you have in your phone. When you're doing these calculations, you are going to put the number of your contacts right in here. So you can see I put the number of contacts in my phone, 2068. It's going to divide, you then divide it by the number of households. So this very conservative number, because what I don't have is the 3/4 child in my phone. And I don't often have both spouses, but let's pretend I do. So I'm going to divide it up by the number of households, meaning I have 766 households in my phone. My market average is every 17th household. That means right now I have a potential transactions in my phone that are going to close in 2026 of 45. Right. I'm going to pause here. Everybody go put your pens down for a minute. I know everybody's doing calculations here. Go to the chat and I'm going to ask a question. A scale of 1 through 5. How important is it for me to know how many people in my phone will likely buy or sell real estate this upcoming year? Just scale of 1 through 5. Go in there and you can put a 5, you can put a 1, you can put a 0. Thanks, Rick. Carrie, Katrina, Kevin. Yes, all of you are getting the picture. Nicole, thank you. Tracy, yes, that is. It is so important and it's so empowering. I did a call yesterday with one of our community members. She's been a longtime friend and I respect this colleague immensely. And so I was honored when she came to join the community and actually quite surprised because to me, she's like top tier. And we were talking about the number that she wants to close in 2026. And we did this number, and she was 3 off of the potential she has in her phone. There were 3 off. So that gave us a starting point of how many more people do we need to add to the database. Also, what does her communication look like with her database? It's a starting point. It's not a guarantee, but it is a starting point. I have some people I meet with who tell me their potential transaction goal for the year is 60. They want to close 60 transactions. And then we run their numbers and they have 10 potential transactions. It means they don't have enough people in the database to cultivate 60 transactions. So we have to start by adding more people to the database. Now, I have something even more fun down here. Okay, so now that we know inside Tammie's phone, there is 45 potential transactions, and I take the average for the DFW market in 2024, which is 495, and the average sales commission, and I did it based off of 2.75% commission. You can see that there is a potential sales volume just inside this phone of 22 million and a potential GCI of 607,000. I like it. This gets my seal of approval here. Now I'm going to take you one level deeper. I'm going to keep my eye on the clock because I have some other stuff I want to share with you, but this is so important and it's not that it's overlooked, it's not even thought about. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and we're going to start with this, and then I'm going to take you back into the spreadsheet. This is you, this is me, this is you, this dot right here, this is you. This is your first line of influence. So this is your sphere. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining this on this call, but there's a difference between a database and a sphere. Okay? So a database is everybody's phone number. You have everybody's phone number. A database, you got them from open houses, you got them from events, you might have got them from a trade show, they might have responded to a Facebook ad, a call sign. You have a phone number and a name for somebody. That's a database. The sphere are the people who would recognize your voice. Okay? That's very different. So your first line of influence is your sphere. And when I start with my phone, I know that's typically about my sphere. If I've got their number saved, these are people that would typically recognize my voice if I were to pick up the phone and call them. It's my first line of influence. And for what you saw on this spreadsheet, this number is 2068. All right. For you, that number is whatever you are. So whatever your number was in your phone, that's your first line of influence. Now, this is where it gets magical. This is your second line of influence. This is the true value of your influence. This second line is actually what tells you how powerful your influence is. So follow me here. Lean in and follow me here. If Tammie has 2,000 people in her phone, it's reasonable to just make the assumption everyone in her phone has 2,000 people in her phone. If John has 100 people in his phone, then we're going to make a reasonable conclusion that every one of John's 100 people have 100 people in their phone. Okay? So the people in your people's phone is your second line of influence. This is the power of influence. So I hope you can all see my little pointer here on my mouse. Because when your voice is heard and influences the second line, now we have true influence. Your first line, this is people you often talk to. So you remind them what your voice sounds like. You have more of a direct influence over them. Remember the story I gave earlier about the neighbor that went to lunch? And however the neighbor talked about you when you weren't present, your body's not there. However that neighbor talked about you, if it caused the second line, meaning the person at the table, if it caused them to call you, you have influence. You have true, powerful influence. The moment your voice and your influence and your presence is felt past this first line into the second line, this is where it gets magical. Now, let's go back to the spreadsheet because I have a fun number here for you. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to change this because this can look daunting to people. Go to an even number here. Let's say you have 1,000 people in your phone and your market does similar to the market in DFW. There's 22 potential transactions. I'm going to go down. Your first line of influence is 1,000 people, 1,000 times 1,000. If every one of your 1,000 people have 1,000 people in their phone, your second line of influence is 1 million. You divide that by the number of households, meaning you have the potential to reach 370,000 households, and you have a market average of 17, there's a potential influence reach of transactions at 21,000 transactions. Now, this can be hard for some people to really understand. These transactions will absolutely take place. They're not all going to take place with you because you don't have that kind of influence. But this is your reach. You could. This is your reach. But these transactions, they will happen. And they're going to happen with a multitude of realtors out there because we're all trying to have influence. And some of us are doing it strategically and in a very tactical way. And some of us are just doing it organically. And the ones who build rapport and really focus on learning how to influence, they're going to get the bigger portion of this reach. Now, I have another image to show you the difference between if you have 1,000 people in your phone versus you have 100 people in your phone. This is you. These are your 1,000. This is your first line of influence. And then this is your second line of influence. These people know these people, and it doesn't matter if they're in the same market as you or not, because you can have influence by giving co-broker referrals. This is you, and these are your 100 people. And then you have a reach of 10,000 people. That's a lot. That's a huge reach. That's amazing reach. All right, so now we're going to go into an audit, and I'm going to take you through that. Let me check the chat, see how we're doing. If anybody has questions, yes, put them in the chat. Taylor is in the background collecting those questions, and I'm going to save some time at the end of this to answer questions, because I may hit something and I may answer your question, but I will definitely save time at the end of this to answer any questions. All right, the influence audit. This is another peek behind the curtain. I see some people in here that are in the community. You may or may not have hit this phase. Inside of our community, we have 6 phases. Everybody starts at foundations and they move through the phases as they continue to graduate out of their influence and what we're teaching them. So the purpose of this is to measure your real influence that you currently have. And I'm going to take you through this. And I want you to just write down your answers. You can certainly take a screenshot of it, but write down your answers because I'm going to tell you at the end what those answers mean. So your database size, how many people do you have in your database? This is everybody. Like if you had to pull up on your KV Core or on your follow-up boss or a spreadsheet, how many people do you have a name and a phone number for, or even an email address? What's your database size? Write that down. What's the size of your sphere of influence? These are the people you have influence over. What's the size of this? These people would either confidently say your name or they would at least recognize your voice. These are people that know you, not people you know, because you know people that don't know you. These are people that know you. If somebody were to say your name to them, they would go, yeah, I know Tammie Slang. Write that count down. And then active referrers. Now, I asked you earlier how many referrals you got. This is how many people in the last year gave your name to someone. How many people referred you? Yes, this is being recorded. See, I got distracted. I answered a question. My bad. Sorry. How many people referred you? These are your tributaries. And then the answer to how many known movers you have. So when I did it, it was 45. How many known movers? You may or may not have the answer to this yet because you might have to go do a little research on your market and see how many transactions closed last year. Um, and then weekly affiliated organizations. Okay, so this is where we're getting to see what opportunities. So you have opportunities and people in your database, but where else are you involved that you could be cultivating greater opportunities? So what I want to know here is your weekly affiliated organizations. And it can also be monthly. Some people meet bi-weekly or monthly. But this would be like a church. Are you very involved with the church? BNI. A BNI is a networking group of professionals. You may have an HVAC company in there, an attorney in there, but it's a network, and you usually meet weekly as professionals to give each other referrals. There are other networking groups out there that go by other names. Are you on a school committee? Do you have influence there? Are you on an HOA board and you have influence there? Do you coach a little league team? Are you a part of a sports team where you regularly meet with people? Do you volunteer for the Boy Scouts of America or the Girl Scouts of America? Are you involved in any other volunteer groups? Are you in a book club? So how many active organizations are you actively participating in? This is not passive membership. So saying I live in an HOA community doesn't mean you're actively involved in an HOA board. What I'm looking for is how many organizations do you have influence in where your voice carries weight? And if the answer is zero, that's great. I have to know where you start to be able to identify gaps, and so we know what to build. This just gives me a picture. A community ownership. Do you run or lead a community? Is it online or is it offline? Some people would run an online community, and that could be a Facebook group, it could be a garage sale site. And so, do you lead a community that you own and you're leading it? And this would even be, do you own like a nonprofit organization? A media platform. Do you currently have any and that I'm going to say you're actively involved in? A podcast, a radio show, a blog, a newsletter, a YouTube channel. List the platforms you have. And then if you have any influence, meaning you're regularly posting, just circle that one so I know that you're regularly posting in it, because we're going to get to the scoring in just a moment. And then we have your social reach. What social media channels do you have? Do you have Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, other? What's your total reach? How many people, how many followers do you have in Instagram? How many followers do you have in Facebook, LinkedIn? TikTok can be on there. Twitter can be on there. What's your total reach when it comes to social media? This you're going to reflect later. So take a screenshot of this. Take your phone out and take a screenshot. It's going to be in the recording. You can take a screenshot of it later as well. But I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. This is for you to reflect on. Where is my influence strong but underutilized? Maybe you have a large following, but you've taken a few years off and you haven't been regularly communicating with them. Maybe you built a blog a long time ago and it's there, but you haven't posted to it because life got in the way. Where am I visible but not trusted yet? Which number surprised you the most? And if I doubled one category above, which would compound my referrals fastest? So this is for you to reflect on. When you're inside the community, we hit a point where we discuss this, and I will actually read your answers, and we will identify some gaps and create a plan around it. But I always like to remind people this isn't judgment. This is only clarity, because what I believe and what we believe inside Referral Champion is you don't need more leads and you don't need more ads and you don't need more strangers. You just need to leverage your influence better. And there is a strategic way to do that. All right, so let me see. I'm going to go to the chat as I pull up the answers. What number surprised you the most? You don't have to give me your number if you're not comfortable with it, but you can at least give me the category: your social reach, your media platforms, community ownership, known movers, active referrers, that always tends to surprise people the most. Sphere of influence or database size. And I'll give you the number two that surprises people the most, that they don't know the answer. And that's okay, because that's what we're here, is to shine that flashlight and turn it on. So what number surprised you the most? I'm going to pull up the audit scoring sheet. Let me zoom in so you can see this better. Okay, you can still see the audit sheet. All right. Database size. This is where you're going to add up some points. If your database was fewer than 500, give yourself 1 point. If your database was between 500 and 750, I want you to give yourself 3 points. If your database was between 750 and 1500, give yourself 5 points. If your database was between 1500 and 2500, give yourself 7 points. If your database was larger than 2500, give yourself 10 points. And I'm going to fix my little punctuation there. All right, sphere of influence size. If your sphere of influence, the people who know your name, the people who know your voice, if that is less than 50, give yourself 3 points. If it's 50 to 100, 6 points. 100 to 250, 9 points. 250 to 500, 12 points. If it's greater than 500, 15 points. Active referrers last year. If you had 0 to 1 referrers, give yourself 2 points. If you have 2 to 10 referrers, 6 points. If you had 10 to 20 referrers, 10 points. Or I said 6 points, 10 points. If you had 20 to 35 referrers, 15 points. And if you had greater than 35 referrers, that's 35 people who referred you, 20 points. And then if you already know this number, and you know your known movers, this is your potential within your phone, your database. 0 to 10 movers in the next 12 months, 2 points. 10 to 20, 4 points. 20 to 30, 6 points. 30 to 40, 8 points. And greater than 40 movers, 10 points. Now, for the weekly, monthly organizational involvement, if you're not a part of any organization, that's okay. Just give yourself 0 points. If you're in one organization, 3 points. If you're in 2, 6 points. If you're in 3, 8 points. And if you're in more than 4 organizations, 10 points. Community ownership and leadership. If you have no communities that you own, 0 points, and it's okay. If it's an informal group, meaning you have a text thread and you have a casual meetup, typically this would be kind of like a bunco, if anybody's familiar with bunco. So this would be 2 points. If it's an organized group like a Facebook group or an HOA group or some kind of club or a meetup, and you own that, or you're the leader of that, maybe even the leader of the PTA, you're the PTA president, 7 points. If it's owned and led, and like you own it and you lead it, meaning you're the host, teach and you facilitate it, it's 10 points. All right. Media presence. If you have no media presence, none. Give yourself 0 points. That's okay. Inconsistent content, meaning you got a media present, but you're more of the lurker. You like to see what's going on in other people's lives. You don't really like sharing what's going on in yours. Give yourself 2 points. Consistent single platform, meaning you consistently focus on one platform, like a blog, a podcast, or a video. Maybe you're very present on Facebook, but you're not on Instagram and you're not on LinkedIn. Give yourself 10 points. If you have multi-platform or you have a syndicated presence where you're reaching more people on multiple platforms, give yourself 15 points. Your social media reach. So this is how many people possibly will see your content. So if you have fewer collectively between all social media sites, fewer than 500 followers, give yourself 2 points. If you have 500 followers to about 2,000 followers, 4 points. 2,000 to 5,000 followers, 6 points. 5,000 to 10,000 followers, 8 points. And greater than 10,000 followers, 10 points. All right, add them up. You have 8 scores there, and it's a total possible of 100 points. Add them up, go to the chat, and tell me what your points are. Tell me what your total points are. 32, good. 28, yay. And thanks for commenting in the chat, your points. Adria, yay. 35, good. 38, 46. Mark Signs. Justin, 49, yay. This is good. Thank you. Thank you for everybody participating in this. Tracy, 32, beautiful. Okay, so what do the scores mean? What does that mean? Everybody always asks, what does that mean? Let me show you. So if you score 0 to 25, you need referral champion phase 1. This means you're known, but you are not remembered. And that's okay because we got to just start. So you need referral champion phase 1. If you score between 26 and 50, you're emerging and you need to start with phase 1 and phase 2 inside of referral champion. People recognize you, but they don't yet. They're not like advocates. And I think you understand the difference between an advocate and someone who just periodically will say your name. So you probably have just a couple of people that say your name, but they're not out there advocating for you. And you don't have a lot of people advocating for you. Then we have established. Those are at 51 to 75 points. And you need phase 2 and phase 3 of referral champion. And for those of you that are in the authority, 76 to 100, you need phase 4. This is where we scale. Phase 4 is all about scaling. All right, let me, and some of you are like, but what are these phases? Well, I didn't tell you what they were because what I am leading up to is a private evening masterclass where you're going to get educated on what those phases are. If you would like to join me for this private evening masterclass, it is 90 minutes. It's not an informational, fun webinar. This is a masterclass, and it's a private invitation only, an evening with me. And it's next Thursday, January 22nd. I have the times for different time zones here. I am in DFW, so I'm at 7 p.m. Those of you on the East Coast, like Manfred, who's in Georgia, that is at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I'm currently at this moment sitting in California with a new grandbaby. So California, y'all are at 5 p.m. So if you're interested in joining, scan this QR code and register for it. This will also be sent out later, but I would suggest you at least scan it right now while I am showing it here because, well, those who take action get action. All right, next up I have here, oh, yay, Taylor. Taylor, bless you. That was so nice of you. Taylor put the QR code link inside of the chat as well. And then if you would like Workman Success Systems, the river of real estate, this is the foundation where you are taught about the river of real estate. This is the flow. You're the source. And then everything flows from you. So the calculator that I shared over here, the very beginning of that is taught inside of the river of real estate. Next, and let me pause here so you can get this a little bit more. That way you can scan this and get your own copy of this system. This is an exclusive system that is typically only given to Workman Success coaching clients. You have, well, through this, I've been given permission to share it with you, but this is something that I do teach because I am a coach with Workman Success System. So I do teach this to my coaching clients as well. And then if you would like to connect with me on Facebook, you can scan this QR code and you can find me on Facebook and send me a friend request or follow me or do neither. All right, and then that is there. All right, now I'm going to go and answer questions. So the question was asked, Julia, can this form be emailed to us? Sign up for the masterclass, and yes. So look for that QR code link down there to sign up for the masterclass. I will share my screen. I think I've got some time. I'll share my screen again. But if you sign up for the Referral Champion Evening Masterclass, yes, you're going to get that form. And then BNI. Thank you, Sarah, for explaining what BNI is. Is it being recorded? Yes, it is being recorded. Um, Taylor says the Canadian stats, and yes, the Workman Success Shift system does have Canadian stats and calculations on it. Let me go back here. As far as, so this was by Yinka, and I'm thinking I know what you're asking is the program assist you in Canada. The Referral Champion program, absolutely. We already do have people from Canada inside of that Referral Champion program. And Kelly, amen to your Jester hat comment. Thank you. Yeah, I had fun picking that hat out. And then the question again about is the Referral Champion program good for Canada? Yes, it is. Okay, so if there, let me see. Oh, we got some new. All right, Carrie is leaving soon. Okay, how do you get Sphere to become advocates? I have a ton of influence, but do not get a ton of referrals. I know there is life-changing potential. Justin, great question. I'm going to answer that a lot more. I'm going to see if how much time I have to answer that right here, but definitely join us on the evening masterclass next Thursday. So I'm going to share my screen while I answer that, just in case anybody did not catch to register for the evening masterclass. So what we teach inside of Referral Champion, there's these three key ingredients to having those that you have access to influence. All right. So there's a big difference between I have influence over people and I have the access to have influence, meaning you have a relationship with them. Right? There's a lot of people you have a relationship with that you have zero influence over. It just exists. That's just human nature. I have a relationship with a lot of people and they have zero influence over me. And it doesn't mean I don't like them. It also doesn't mean I don't respect them. I do respect. There's a lot of people I respect. But when asked for a referral, maybe in an area where they provide service, their name just doesn't come top of mind to me. And I don't just immediately give their name out. So what I find is most real estate professionals have a database and they have a sphere. So this is access to potential influence. And then you have to cultivate a relationship where the influence turns into an advocate and they actually are out there advocating for you. One of the key ingredients in that is we have a cause. And so inside of a Referral Champion, I teach the members there to have a cause. In order for people to advocate for you, they have to rally with you and they got to rally around a cause. And a cause is greater than you. So a cause could be feeding the homeless, a cause could be a women's shelter, a cause could be a multitude of things. I have one who is feeding dogs at the pet shelter, generating enough income to be able to provide enough food for a year to the pet shelter. So to have influence over other people, you got to create an environment and a space where they want to rally with you. And that's done through a cause. I'm giving you a little sneak peek in that. There's way more to how to message your cause and how to pick a cause and to have the cause structured in the right way. But how to create advocates is they got to create a cause. Most of us here, we work to pay our light bill. We work to pay the mortgage. We work to pay interest on credit cards. We work to survive. And we may also work to pay for a vacation. Nobody in our sphere wants to rally around Tammie going to Disney World. If I were to call people up and say, I have a big goal this year, I want to go to Disney World, they're going to go, good for you, Tammie. Nobody wants to rally around Tammie earning a certain award in her company. Nobody wants to rally around Tammie's light bill. They have their own light bill they got to rally around. But they do want to rally around my cause. And so having a strong cause and building it the right ways, there's the wrong way to build a cause. Don't build a cause without further instruction because you can actually mess up there. So Justin, that's just one. I have 2 minutes left, so I don't have time to really go into the other two secret sauces to moving from potential influence to actually influencing people to advocate with you. But I will do that. Oh, yay, you signed up and you're welcome for the one. You can start giving that some food for thought, and anybody else who's coming to that meeting, give it a food for thought. I hope to see you there next Thursday night. Bring your favorite dessert, wear your PJs. You won't be on camera. I will. So have your hair up, put a mask on, don't care, but let's just enjoy our time together next Thursday. And thank you for being here with me today.